In the infinite dark sea of space, beyond the last whisper of sunlight, a lone traveler drifts silently. It is not a spaceship carrying astronauts, nor a probe designed to return. It is Voyager 2, humanity's old but persistent messenger, launched nearly half a century ago. For decades, most assumed that after crossing the boundary of our solar system, it had become a quiet observer, whispering back faint signals from the edge of the void. But now, something has changed. Voyager 2 has seen something. Something that should not move. Something that should not exist in the place where it was found. For years, its path through the interstellar medium had been uneventful, recording particles, magnetic fields, and cosmic silence. Until the silence broke. Until a motion, deliberate, unmistakable, was caught drifting in the darkness. When the data reached Earth and was decoded, scientists realized with growing dread that what they had feared in secret might actually be true. Voyager 2 was not alone. The probe had already passed Neptune, past Pluto, and crossed the heliopause, that invisible boundary where the sun's influence fades and true interstellar space begins. It was supposed to drift quietly, picking up only minor fluctuations in space dust and radiation. Instead, it picked up movement, the kind of movement that doesn't happen by chance. At first, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory dismissed it as a blip, an odd spike in the plasma wave data. The spike lasted only seconds. Voyager's instruments are extremely sensitive, usually reporting changes in particle density or magnetic interactions. But this time, the signal carried something else. It pulsed. It had rhythm. This wasn't random cosmic noise. It looked like a pattern. Engineers wondered if it was interference, perhaps a glitch caused by cosmic rays or aging hardware. After all, Voyager 2 is almost 50 years old. But when the same signal returned, stronger, sharper, more deliberate, they knew it wasn't an error. It was a broadcast. Voyager had seen something, and it had recorded it. When the data was cleaned and analyzed, the shock was undeniable. Approximately 500,000 kilometers from the probe, an object was detected. It moved at a velocity that made no sense for any natural body in that region. No asteroid belts exist there. No rogue planets. No expected comets. And yet this thing was not just drifting. It was tracking. Its motion aligned with Voyager's own trajectory. It adjusted speed, subtly but unmistakably, mimicking the probe's path. Imagine a predator in the deep ocean, shadowing its prey, keeping just enough distance to remain unseen but always present. That is what Voyager's instruments were reporting. Panic spread quickly, not only within NASA but across independent observatories and even military space tracking networks. They confirmed it. It was not a malfunction. The plasma density spikes, the magnetometer anomalies, the tiny fluctuations in Voyager's gyroscopes, all pointed to the same conclusion. Voyager had company. And that company might not be friendly. But the most terrifying revelation wasn't the movement, it was what Voyager sent back. Hidden within its telemetry was a radio burst that Voyager itself had not generated. The probe had simply carried it, like a passenger signal riding alongside its own. When decoded, the burst contained binary sequences, strings of zeros and ones, that, when plotted visually, formed patterns. They were not natural cosmic fluctuations. They were designed. Spirals, loops, intersections. Glyph-like geometry that reminded some of ancient human symbols, crop circle mathematics, recursive spirals, strange intersections. Artificial. Deliberate. And deeply unsettling. When AI-assisted linguists and astrophysicists analyzed the data, their conclusion was simple and terrifying. This was not random interference. This was a transmission. Something had inserted itself into Voyager's communication stream. Whether it was a warning, a message, or something worse, no one could yet say. But the implications were staggering. Voyager was not alone in interstellar space. And whatever it had encountered now knew about us. The scientific community fractured. Some called this the proof humanity had been waiting for, evidence we are not alone. Others argued it was not discovery but surveillance. A prelude. What made it even more chilling was the timing. Months earlier, Voyager 1 had experienced strange anomalies in its own readings, anomalies dismissed at the time as static interference. Now, with Voyager 2's new data, those old logs were being re-examined. And suddenly, the anomalies looked far more sinister. Had we been blind all along? Had something been shadowing both probes for decades? The deeper scientists dug, the worse it became. The object Voyager detected did not move like an asteroid or comet. Its trajectory bent unnaturally, as if warping the very fabric of spacetime. Simulations using known physics failed to reproduce its path. It seemed to accelerate and decelerate at will, as though responding to Voyager's signals. NASA scientists used one word: reactive. It moved when Voyager moved. It pulsed when Voyager pulsed. It behaved like something that was listening. And if it was listening, it meant it was aware. Then came the most disturbing leak of all. A former JPL engineer revealed that internal reports compared the object's magnetic flux readings to theoretical energy patterns predicted for warp drives. Toroidal distortions. Field manipulation. Not natural. Not random. Something capable of folding spacetime itself. If true, Voyager hadn't stumbled across just an object. It had crossed paths with a technology far beyond human reach. Something, or someone, capable of traveling the stars not with rockets but by bending reality itself. And the signals Voyager carried back? They weren't fading. They were intensifying. Every pulse seemed to echo one chilling truth: we are not alone. Soon, it wasn't only Voyager detecting anomalies. Ground-based radio telescopes in Chile, Australia, and South Africa began picking up faint echoes of the same distorted frequencies. The echoes pulsed in synchrony with Voyager's transmissions, as though something in deep space was mirroring the probe's activity. Analysts called it the phantom pulse. Attempts to triangulate the origin failed. But one thing became clear: this was not localized. Whatever was out there could project its presence across vast distances, simultaneously. And that meant one thing. It wanted to be noticed. At this point, the question shifted from "what is it?" to a far more disturbing one: why now? Voyager had been drifting silently for nearly 50 years. Why reveal itself today? Some scientists argued that the anomaly had not responded to Voyager at all, but to us. To Earth. In the last decade, humanity's artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and signal processing technology had finally matured. For the first time in history, we had the tools to actually decode what had once been static. Had something been waiting for us to reach this threshold? Watching silently until the moment we could finally understand? Governments scrambled. Reports of media blackouts emerged. Private observatories were mysteriously shut down. Even independent AI researchers claimed their projects were suddenly classified. Behind closed doors, one question grew louder than all the rest. Did Voyager trigger first contact, or awaken something we were never meant to find? Voyager 2 was never meant to be more than a messenger, a tiny probe carrying humanity's curiosity into the void. But now it may have become something else entirely, a trigger. The moving structure. the mirrored signals, the encoded frequencies. None of it fits neatly within human science. But all of it points toward one unavoidable truth: something is out there. Not light years away in distant galaxies, but here, lurking in the shadows of our solar system. Watching. Waiting. And perhaps the most chilling part of all, they chose now to answer. Not when Voyager launched. Not when it passed Neptune. But now, when humanity finally reached the threshold of understanding. The question is no longer whether we are alone. The question is far darker: what have we just awakened?